3, 2, 1. We're back! Episode 4. Get ready to rumble. Hey guys, episode 4.
I have to stop singing in the first 10 seconds.
Stop squeaking also.
Oh, her Christmas present.
What's squeaking down there? I can't even tell. Oh, scissor Crocs. No biggie. Just super swaggy. I got scissor Crocs from Taryn and Laura Lee as a partial Christmas and birthday gift. And this is the one time I'll allow it. Because they're just so pretty. I can't do both of them.
The Crocs are for Christmas, the Gibbets are for your birthday.
Yep. Icy. Yeah, it's no biggie. SZA like handcrafted them and curated them just for.
She wrote you a note in the. If you take off the.
If I like cut
if
it
you
open.
like cut it open, like there's a note from her in there.
For sure.
I told her in the special description. I told her
to send it with a secret little message. Hi guys.
Hey.
So this is the first one we don't really have like a solid structure to talk about.
Just like talking points.
Yeah.
Which is probably better.
Yeah. So experimenting probably should be better, and we have more confidence now. Besides the video lighting, we'll get better.
Oh my god, the video. We'll also just like getting the video out. Oh my god, because the first episode is with video.
It was like
there's only 11 minutes of it, so it exported fine, but it was just like I didn't like record it. I didn't figure out the recording time or whatever. And then the second one, the video just didn't work, and I thought that it was because I changed a setting, but now I'm like, I think it's Premiere being stupid. I think it might be that it shouldn't be that I don't have enough storage, because I'm using my SD card and my USB have so much storage, so they're just being dramatic.
I believe.
So I'll figure it out.
Yeah.
So as of now, the video for episode 3 isn't up, but I'm gonna try like tonight or tomorrow, and then I will try so hard to get the video for this up, because I was like, new set, can't even see it.
Literally.
So embarrassing.
It's really upsetting, and Taryn is the one who understands all this, so I'm just here to sympathize.
And I exported the 2 clips. They're 2 like 1-minute clips for like the Instagram and stuff.
Oh, and they worked fine.
They exported fine, and I can export like chunks. So I exported like 1 chunk, and I was like, okay, I think I can do this for the rest. So I just have to like take like 6 hours and export like it in 3 chunks, and then figure it out.
She's got a big
So
day
I
ahead
think
of
it can be done, but I also have been saying that for the last 3 episodes. One day, or I'll just have to cancel my Premiere subscription and get a new thing.
Yeah.
Because oh my god,
we stand with Taryn, and we know she's. What does it mean when the red light's flashing?
that it's recording.
Oh, okay. I thought it was like solid. Anyways.
No, I told you this
I'm
before.
learning things. Guys, I get bragging rights from this. It's one of the like benefits. But what did I do today? You could say
She's
I
got a
was
little trick up her
being
sleeve.
Canada's lifeline. It's falling off. Yeah. No biggie. I just donated blood a couple hours ago, and like they like thanked me and like hugged me and flowered me with gifts and were like
Cheetos.
Yep, Cheetos specifically, and mango juice. Donated blood for the 3rd time today. Oh, I gotta take it off my zipper. And when you donate blood 3 times, you get a little pin that says 3 with the infinite blood sign on it, and then your blood type on the back. And I put it on my zipper because I was like, as a joke, but also like, I'm gonna lose it, and now I can't get it off.
I can't donate blood because
That
they told me that I have 9.5 hemoglobin scale. I'm kidding. I've never been to a doctor before in my life. I just like bleed so much out of my nose, out of everywhere. Everywhere I can bleed, I'm just always bleeding, and I'm probably anemic, and I probably have high blood pressure. And I'm also I'm not scared of needles because vaccines, I don't care. But the idea of a needle going upwards and like the little skin flap that goes up a little bit, even like not looking at it, just
you make
the
it
idea
sound
that, like,
so much worse.
I have an active imagination.
Yeah.
You could say.
That like the skin that opens up just like doesn't close again.
It's not open. It's just like the little
like incision. Yeah.
The fact that like the needle has to go under so the skin is like up a little bit.
Yeah.
Makes me want to freak out.
It's pretty gnarly, you could say. But I refuse to look at it, and people probably think I'm like disgusted at the worker, but I'm like, I actually just can't look.
That's probably normal.
I know.
I don't think a lot of people are like,
let me see.
Yeah.
Well, if men have to, or else they're weak. No. No, I did it just fine. I always feel like everyone there is mad at me, but I know they're fine, and I'm fine. But yeah.
They took a Starbucks grande
if you guys
size.
want to know how much blood they take from you, grande size. It's exactly how much they take from you, 470 milliliters.
That makes you want to throw up everywhere.
Well, you don't have to drink it.
I know, but it's just like, I can't lose that much blood. I can't like gamble that much. I can't make it fast enough to like be able to give that much. Also, like, maybe my body would be fine, but I just like I would think that I'm dying. No, literally. So then my brain would try and kill myself.
Every time I like feel it and it like kind of hurts, I'm always just like, oh god, like the pit goes in my throat, and I'm like, if like why you're fine. There's 4 like certified people. My elbow just cracked.
Even when I get my vaccine, when I got my booster, we've just got 1 booster, right?
We can get our second, but we just haven't because we're losers.
I didn't even like know that was a thing because they stopped like telling us.
Oh, my mic's on the ground.
Because it's like the government doesn't tell us COVID numbers or like
that's still a thing.
Because before they'd be like, this is who's eligible, and now they're like, it doesn't exist anymore. So we got rid of it. But when I got my booster with Laura Lee, it like went in, and I think it must have just like hit a nerve or something, because it like it never really hurts. Like it just hurts like it's going in my skin, but it like hit a nerve, so it was like my entire arm like hurt for a little bit, and I was like sweating because it was like painful, and I was like, oh, I'm dying.
Literally, because like the whole thing's like it's not supposed to hurt.
Yeah. They're like, oh, it's fine, it won't hurt. And then I'm like, this is like excruciating, actually. And then I just sat there and I just had to like pretend to be fine so that I wouldn't scare Laura Lee. And then they gave
strong for her.
And then, and then she gave me a juice box, and then I just waited till I was stopped sweating, and then I was like, I'm a survivor.
You're a big girl. You got this. I'm really proud of you.
Thank you.
Now I have to go for a second one, so you have to live that all over again.
Yeah. I don't think it was the actual vaccine. It was like, it literally felt like it hit a nerve.
Karen's an anti-vax.
That's not what I just said. I said I don't think the second booster will be as. I don't think I'll have the same reaction. I think it was just they literally like hit a nerve because it just like it was just like shooting through my arm. They're shooting up vaccine into my
prairie land.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very scary to get your vaccine in a carpeted area.
True, but that's what it normally is. Remember when you went in like kindergarten when you had to get those whatever vaccine that was?
You know what's funny?
Okay.
Is I think that my mom gave me no, this is about it. I'm oh,
okay.
Sorry, I wasn't changing the subject. I think when I was in kindergarten, we had a sub. I remember this. It was like this. It was so stressful. We had a sub, and I had the sign-out sheet to like say that I could get the vaccine, but I don't think my mom told me that she put it in there. So when the sub was like, "Hey, does everyone have their sign sheets, like their parents?" I was like, "No, I don't think so," or like I can't find it or something. And then, or I like forgot to give it to her. And then, but at the end of the day, I found it and I tried to give it to her, and she was like, "Everyone's done already." And I was like, "So I don't know if I've ever got a vaccine."
That was your first time.
Kidding. I got mine in elementary school when everyone did.
She's mad.
It's you being you saying like, you remember you saying aren't they all like that when you got your vaccines before? And I'm like, school?
I know? Yeah. It's okay. You are vaccinated.
I am.
But I was gonna say, like, yeah, my third back to me. Jesus.
Sorry.
My third time donating blood, and I've never had a problem, but this time it took like 3 minutes longer than it did the other 2 times, which is was still normal. But then afterwards, my hand looked so pale, and it was like tingly when you touch it, when I was touching my fingers, because that's what I always do. And then I was doing it, like, faster because it was, like, losing, like, tension. He was just like, are you okay? And I was like, I, like, can't feel my hand. And he's like, oh, let me, like, loosen the wraps for you, whatever. And, like, didn't loosen it at all. I was like, good. I'm gonna run.
That's probably, like, what it was. He was just, like, you just actually cutting off circulation. Like, it has nothing to do with taking blood out.
Like, probably. But I was, like, sometimes it, like, burns. I'm like, I'm scared right now.
You're making it very hard for me to want to donate blood.
No, I'm telling you this because I know you never will. You gotta...
Maybe if I go to a doctor and they're like, it's all in your head.
Yeah.
Then I'll be like, okay.
Put their hand on your head and like, stop it.
Snap out of it. We need your blood.
Nightmare.
No, I'm saying no, but the grande thing, I need to, like, keep a cup by my bathroom sink next time I have like a measuring cup and just being like, I'm just curious. How much like a bad one, because it's like the drops are big and it lasts like 15-20 minutes sometimes.
Oh god.
I genuinely
nosebleeds.
Yeah. Sorry. That's what I mean when I bleed a lot, mostly. I'm winking at you right now.
That's what that means.
That's a wink sound.
Yeah. Taryn, how has your car been this week?
What an amazing segue. I do actually have something to talk about in my car. It's actually not even this week. It's the last 3 weeks.
Perfect.
So, first of all, if we go back in time 3 weeks, I've been putting this on my podcast notes to talk about, like, my talking points for, like, 3 weeks, but it just keeps adding on, and I just keep forgetting to talk about it. So, probably 3 weeks ago, my car tire, the driver's side front one, is always low. And I always forget to fill it up, and my dad always yells at me. And when it gets really cold, it gets worse, and it got really cold. So I went to, this was actually the night we recorded the first episode. And
really?
Yeah, because we all drove separately, like Rowan and Farron. Right. And then I drove here, so I was sitting outside in front of Chris's house. And then at 2 a.m., I decided to go home. My dad is at the cabin, so he is 2 hours away. My mom is sleeping. My sibling's sleeping, obviously, because it's 2 a.m. Actually, my mom was not sleeping, but she's whatever. And then I'm driving, and I'm going down this, like, main street that I just take, like, I drive on it for a long time, and as I am going for a long time, it's just, like, slowly, I'm like, there's a little sound. There's a little... I'm shaking a little bit, and there's just a little, literally, Justin Bieber, drummer boy. Yeah, I'm gonna drum, yeah, I'm gonna snare drum. Yeah, it literally was. My car was beatboxing, and it's just like, I just thought it was, like, just a bumpy road, and then I was like, I don't see a lot of bumps here. Yeah. And so by the time I'm, like, almost by my house, I'm also like, something is wrong, but it's 2 a.m., I'm a woman, it's so cold outside, everyone is asleep, like, no one is gonna come help me, I might as well just get home. Yeah. Because it's also, like, not that far from home. And I luckily, the turnoff to go to the freeway versus just, like, residential roads was before I heard the noise. So luckily I didn't go on the freeway, because oh my god, that would have been bad. So I'm just, like, laughing, because I'm like, oh wow. I finally figure out, like, I was like, is it the engine? And then I was like, no, it's definitely the tire, because it's just on this side. And so I'm just like, this is so funny, because literally all I can do is just drive on this and, like, go home. And I parked, I went inside, I told my mom what happened, and I just went to bed.
You didn't even look at it?
No, I looked at it.
Okay.
Because I looked at it and I was like, okay. And then I told my mom, I'm like, yeah, it's, like, destroyed. I can maybe, like, if I remember, I'll insert a picture or video or whatever. It was literally mutilated, which I was like, I didn't know that that's what happened. But my dad was like, yeah, if you drive on it when it's flat, because it just, like...
It, like, falls off the rim, right?
Yeah, and it, like, bends and then compresses in the bead. I don't know. Whatever. So that happened, and I was like, that's really funny. So then I tell my dad, like, he had to, like, cut the wheel off in, like, pieces, because it was just, like, mutilated, and I helped him put one on. And originally he was like, that's gonna be so much money, and I was like, shit. And then he found one on Kijiji for, like, $50, and I was like, you are so dramatic. So we changed one, and then I was like, okay, I'm fine. Mm-hmm. And then I was I was wary of driving for a little bit, but then I was like, whatever, I'm fine, I'm back. Then when I was dyeing my hair to this color, I was with my cousins, and they met me at my house, and then we went to the mall and got like treats, and then we drove back to my house, and then we dyed my hair, and then we were playing Twilight Seen It in my basement, and my mom comes down and she's like, did you know that your other tire is flat? And I was like, did I know that? No, I didn't know that. And what's funny is when we were leaving the mall parking lot, there's pedestrians crossing, and the guy like pointed at my like the front passenger side, like front, and I thought it was because I was going straight to go into a parking spot, but like you usually only turn one way, so I thought he was just being like, turn on your signal, and I was like, the fuck? Don't tell me what to do. And then I was like, is my headlight burnt out? Because they're like so dim and like not road safe. But we checked and I was like, no. What's so funny is I turned on my car, and then my cousins looked at the light to see if it was burnt out. The tire's right there. It also like wasn't that flat. It was just like, if I drove on it more, it'd be bad. Yeah. And it was also really cold, like super cold. So it was.
Some things are just not worth it when it's minus 35 outside.
Yeah, and I always just go home and park my car and go inside
and wait to be told in front of instructions.
So then my dad just like figured it out. He just like filled it up, and it kept getting nicer, so it stopped like whatever.
Freezing, yeah.
So now it's fine. The car is fine. So because of that, when I was waiting for my tire to be like better, and it was also like super icy and super cold, I was like, okay, I'll just drive the Jeep, because my parents went to, like, I drive the car, and then the Jeep is my parents. We also have a truck, and they took the truck to the cabin. They took the truck to the cabin, so the Jeep was left with me for like the 2 days before we went out for Christmas. And so we went to this like enchanted forest thing, like Christmas lights in our city. So I went and picked them up, and we went, and it was super cute. And then we went and got wings. That was so good. I love wings. And then I love wings. And then we went back to my house and like watched a movie, ate the wings. And then I was like, okay, I'll just drive you back because I picked you guys up. So we go in my garage where the Jeep is. And it's like a SUV Jeep kind of thing. It has a back windshield wiper. That'll be crucial to the story in a second. And I get in the car, and I'm gonna back out. So I press the button. It's like you have to press and hold it, so it's kind of stupid to open the garage door. And so I like press it, and then I like, like set up my music or whatever. And then I like look behind me, and I realize like the door isn't, like, it didn't actually open. So I press it again, but I thought, because I pressed it so long ago, this is the amount of time that I give it to get to the top, right? And then I'm like already playing music, and you guys are talking, and I can kind of hear it, so I like can't hear the garage door going up. And so I put that baddie in reverse, and I'm not going fast because there's not that much space between the garage door and the Jeep. Like, I'm not going fast. I like just started moving, and I just hear this crunch noise.
It was loud.
And immediately I look in the rearview mirror, and I'm like, oh, the glass is a little bit shattered. And Carissa's laughing because she doesn't.
I thought she just hit the door.
Yeah, because like if I hit it literally anywhere else,
it would have just
like
stopped.
Any lower, it would have just been like the back
thing,
bumper kind of thing, and I would have been like, oh, like, sorry, Dad, I scratched the back of the Jeep a little bit, and you would have been like, okay. But no, it hit the, like, right where the windshield wiper thing is, so it just, like, that's attached to the glass, so it just, like, crunched in, so it's just, like, broken all around the bottom and the sides, and, like, just kind of, like, a little bit, like, cracked in the middle, so, like, my dad was like, do you think you could tape it? And I'm like, I might try in the morning, and then I sent him a picture, and he's like, if you touch that, it's gonna all come down. And I was like, well, good thing I didn't.
Please don't even try.
And I was supposed to drive the Jeep out the morning after to go to the cabin, so I didn't do that. I got a ride with my uncle, but I was just like, okay, like, why did that happen? Because also, if the garage door would have just like worked properly and gone up when I pressed the button,
fault.
Yeah,
it was the door's fault.
not me.
Yep,
definitely not for not like
Karen's
shoulder
never made
check.
a mistake.
Why do I have to shoulder check leaving my own garage? That's not my fault.
Shoulder check.
In my car, you just press the button and it opens.
That
the
garage
Jeep
door was in her blind spot.
Yeah.
Yep.
Also, the back windows are way too tinted, so I could even see the garage door if I wanted to. So it's actually not my fault at all. If you think about it, I have no hand in this.
Yep. She couldn't see it if she wanted to.
But now my dad's like, should I replace the back windshield with one that's not tinted? and then try to take the tint off the other ones, and I'm like, yeah. Because you cannot see anything at night in that thing.
Because I will do that again.
That's a hazard. I'll do it again, yeah. If you put tinted windows back in there, I'll do it immediately. Yep. So I don't think I should be trusted in a car for like a while.
She's living and she's learning.
I'm like,
but still,
I'm sweating just telling that story.
Legally, perfect record. So you're fine.
No, I only make damage to my own car.
Yeah.
But I'm saying, next, I'm going to hit a parked car.
And it's going to be Carson's. Whatever car that guy's driving, you're going to hit Carson's.
Because he doesn't own one anymore. I lost my chance to T-bone him.
He lost a chance along.
Ugh. But yeah, that's so we'll check back in a week when I have another story, probably.
Yeah. Don't say that, because we're doing an 8-hour road trip.
Yeah, but I'm not driving.
Sure you aren't, but I don't know.
So, that's on Kieran.
Yeah.
He's going to have to come on and be like, so I rolled my mom's car. Kidding.
You better be freaking joking. No. I still love Taryn. I still support her.
You still love me even though I destroyed two out of 3 of my...
I'll always be your ally.
Vehicles.
It's fine. It's part of my job. As a mother.
As a mother. Do you want to talk about
news
Megan?
Stories? Yes.
Let's talk about current events.
I was like, Taryn and I can get more political.
We can, yeah.
This is our podcast.
Let's get...
Even though this shouldn't be political at all, either of these stories, so it's fine.
No, not political at all.
No. So we're talking about Megan Thee Stallion. And her... Yes. We love Megan. Always been on her side.
To preface, love her. Number 1 Spotify Wrapped.
Exactly. To make it clear.
What's that going on?
Yeah, the Tory Lanez beef.
Boo!
Yeah. He's Canadian.
That's so embarrassing for us.
He might get deported back here. Like, wow. He faces deportation because he committed a crime, you know?
Yeah.
That's so funny.
That is really funny.
Because he, committed a crime. He shot someone.
I'm just, so...
confused at what the problem is. What's the confusion?
I don't know a lot. I feel like I should have read more about this. And, I literally only get my news from Twitter. And that's a problem. Especially when I delete Twitter because then I don't get anything. Not even Twitter news. And I'm so out of the loop. I didn't even know this till I re-downloaded Twitter.
Really?
I mean,
you
said
just missed it a day.
Yeah, you said something and I was like, okay,
I have to get this back. Yeah.
But I'm just the whole case. This is also 2020 that this happened. 2 years. And then she's also still going to have to because this happened, but then she can do lawsuits against him for
defamation.
Yeah.
And lying.
And it's just after the Johnny Depp Amber Heard thing, I was for a second, I was oh, okay, he's the victim. Yeah. This is just a special case where he's the victim. But then I read again on Twitter, but I saw so many things about just his past with other things. And then the things he said in court about the things that were proven true and recordings of him just talking about what the
just went off. What was the outcome of that case?
So she won the case against him to begin with. That was she won the domestic violence case, I think, but then he won the defamation case. One. And it gained traction after the domestic violence case. So the defamation case was the smear campaign against Amber Heard. Yeah. And then the verdict happened after it went super big and there was movies made about it.
Jeez.
Just died.
Awesome.
Okay, so the my camera just died, so we might have a little chunk in the middle that's not video, but we also might not have any video. So whatever.
You might just have to suck it up.
So we're talking about that was just disgusting, and to still hear people, especially women, talk about that, I'm you obviously...
Are people being, fans of the case? I'm I didn't even know, shit like that could be televised.
No. It, I think it used to be, a really big thing with, Jeffrey Dahmer, serial killers and stuff. That's bad, because it's, you know he did it. You are, literally a fan of the fact that he did it. People being I love serial killers. They're just, so interesting.
So misunderstood. I don't know. Yeah, no.
But just, it always happens where they, baby the men.
Yeah.
And they're just, you're so cute. And then they villainize the woman, especially because there's the stuff about like the perfect victim, and Amber Heard like wasn't the perfect victim because she like fought back.
Yeah.
And like, you know,
I haven't heard about
was
that.
kind of violent, sometimes like in retaliation.
Literally.
And like kind of easy to make fun of, so she wasn't like, people were like, oh, she can't be a victim because she like,
it's just so insane. Like, obviously this is not that hot of a take, but it's like I've really seen it this past year, just like how hard men will like hate on women, because like, speaking from a woman's perspective, I find it just as easy to hate on both of them. I'm like, if people are bad people, it doesn't
literally
like affect either of them. I'm like,
yeah.
Men will take any chance to like hate on a woman like 10 times as hard as they would for a man.
Absolutely.
Like, they just won't go as hard against.
Oh my god, I forgot about our like TikTok comment.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna talk about that.
Yeah,
our TikTok comment. Okay, yeah.
No, ours. It was like, I posted a clip about the second episode, or I posted about the first, and it did like no comments. And the second one, I don't know what it was. I don't know if it's because I hashtag podcast, and then the men that frequent the hashtag podcast are literally just like
alpha male podcast,
like Andrew Tate kind of stuff. But we got one comment that was like, delete this podcast, and I liked it. I was like, okay,
that's funny,
like whatever. And then someone commented on that and said like L comment, and I was like, or W comment, and I was like, you are all men for sure. Like they are.
Yeah.
But then there was one that was like, it was I won't look it up, but
yeah, like I know what you're thinking. I'm trying to formulate it. My dad's singing. Sorry, my dad is making so many noises.
The TikTok comment was like, use this as a reminder for everyone who thinks like them and their friends are funny and want to start a podcast.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, the name of the podcast is Gap Your Mentality. So we're obviously two like teenage girls.
Yeah.
The profile, by the way, there's 2 videos on it about Overwatch.
Okay. Good.
And I said, I've dated a man like you. I know exactly how you operate.
How
you
your brain
hate
works.
women.
Yep.
You probably, I don't want to be like, you hate yourself, so you're taking it out on women.
But
in my experience, that's what happens.
Insecurity issues.
You are probably a grown man or a teenage boy.
You're at least 16 years old.
Yeah. And I just hate the internet. It just made me
that's why
really
I do not have TikTok, because it's so exhausting, and it's just so many people being like, this is like your sign that like women are stupid and like teenagers are annoying, and like you guys are making my life miserable because I'm seeing this video. I'm like,
literally, I'm like, this is so. The clip is us talking about a like funny story.
Yeah. With
like us and Leah on a trip, and it's like a minute long, and I'm like, imagine seeing that and being like, no, like this is like,
they need to hear
bad.
my thoughts.
Because I'm like, first of all, second video on our account with 1 follower.
We have no followers on that.
You are not like doing anything. Like, this is obviously just like, oh, we just started. This is just a fun thing. We're 2 teenage girls talking about a fun thing that we do with our friends. And it's also like, the whole joke is like, everyone starts a podcast.
Yeah.
It's like,
whatever.
There are so many podcasts, which is probably what this guy like consumes, or what the people who are commenting consumes, where they're like actually like being rude,
misogynistic.
Like I'm like, this is so nothing. And also like I was just, it just made me like really be like, wow, the type of person to comment this I'm so far from, because I've never seen anything and comment and been like, I don't like this, I have to comment and make sure they know. Like, if I don't like it, I'm just like, okay. I really wish that I wouldn't see this.
Let everyone around me know, but I won't let...
Did you know that if you're on TikTok, you can press and hold, and then a little thing shows up, and it says not interested?
Like yeah.
And then you don't have to see stuff like that. And you also can just scroll. And also... I'm just so... It's because you were talking about how men just, like... they treat women differently, and they'll always like go harder for women. And I was thinking about when we were friends with guys in grade 10, and it was just always like, they can make fun of their friends can make fun of them, they can make fun of us and talk about our bodies.
Yeah, that's always such a common topic.
Yeah, just go straight to that. And then, but if we retaliate and make
they're
fun
just
of
like,
anything,
she's being really mean.
Yeah,
that is such a common thing. Every time we make a joke, it's just like, you guys are like actually mean, which like, Maybe we were.
But also, like, oh my god.
Compared to... We kept up the same energy. If we're being mean, you guys are being mean.
Literally. It's also, like... Yeah, they couldn't take a joke, and we were, like... If we didn't take a joke, and we took offense to something, about them literally being, like... Like, the joke was, like... That we were flat. Or we were, like...
Yeah.
Not curvy enough. In 7th grade.
That was a joke.
If you're listening to this right now, I hope you know who you are, and I hope you're ashamed. Because I will never forget that, and...
No, I don't either.
And that will shape the way that I view men forever.
Yeah.
And just every time something like that happens, I'm just like, I just really can't trust... Because we were, like, friends with them. That's the thing. It's like, those are the men we were friends with.
Temporary women haters, too.
Yeah, and it's just like... And then we put them all in a group chat and said, you guys actually don't respect us.
How do you forget
Nothing
that?
happened.
No.
And then it's just like...
You know what happened? We didn't... That was the cutoff, and we weren't friends with them after that.
We saw their reaction, and we said, okay, never mind.
It's not worth it.
And then one friend defended the other guy for saying the N-word, and we said, okay.
Oh, I forgot about that.
This is like so much...
So personal.
Just like meta, whatever. But
yeah.
I wrote down so much. When this happened, I wrote down so much in my notes. Because when that happened, I also just dove deep into, like, why do men not
act
like
this
funny women?
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that we're, like, funny. I'm just saying, like, women
when
who
we make
want to tell jokes.
Yeah.
And it's like, the whole thing is, like, men say they want a woman with a sense of humor, but they don't want a funny woman who makes jokes. They want a woman who will laugh at their jokes.
Exactly.
And never call them out if they make something, like...
To go too far. If it's not funny.
Because comedy is a man's thing.
Construct, literally.
And women can't do it because then it's like, you can't be smart. Because then you have a one-up on
witty
the man.
Yeah.
And often men, when they're insecure, they they just, like, use comedy. So then if you also do that, then they're like, I have nothing. Which is, like, you should, if you're, like, a funny man, and you pride yourself as a funny man, wouldn't you be like, wow, I'd love a partner who can banter with me and go back and forth? But it's like, no. I could talk about that for so long. I've read so many articles. And I'm like, and then I have to stop myself and be like, I'm turning into a femcel. But
there needs to be more of them.
Yeah.
No, like, I don't even know where we, like, wandered off on this. But I'm just... Like, it is just so evident, and if you didn't, like, sorry, when I was younger, I was literally in the incel mindset, being like, boys are better, boys are funnier.
I'm a tomboy.
Women are annoying. Like,
I hate the color pink and wearing dresses.
Like, literally tomboy construct until I was 14, 15.
And you actually, like, miss out on a part of, like, I never, like, dressed up. Yeah. I never got, like...
No, it's just us had, going, like, out for dinners and stuff and being like, this is so... That's a...
Like, I'd go over to my friend's house and she'd have makeup and I'd be like, this is actually fun. I forgot that girl things are fun. And then now, I have to, like, catch up, and it's like, I've never worn heels.
In my life. That was
don't know how to curl my hair.
No, I just don't know how to, like, get done up.
Literally, like, not at all.
Someone teach me.
But I don't... It's also, like, going back to, like, the court cases, it's just, like, it's just, men don't...
I'm like, why are you wasting your energy, like,
on
being...
Tory Lanez.
Like,
who liked his
and
music?
just being like, she's a liar, like, no way. Like, what do you mean you would never do this?
It's so... Because, like, it's one thing when it's, like, domestic violence, and it's often, like, closed doors, and they're, like, married or something, and it's, like...
Literally just their perspective.
Yeah, and it's like, okay, we don't know what went on, but it's, like, she was shot, and she had to, like, post pictures and be like, no, like, I was actually shot.
Do you remember...
For people to believe her, and they still didn't.
No. Do you remember when she was, like, I didn't even... Like, when the police came, she didn't even say Tory did it, because she didn't want him to get...
Literally.
Like, she literally protected him. Yeah.
And he did not do the same thing.
I'm getting angry.
And she did not do the same thing. And it's also, like, a whole different thing when it's, like, black women and black men and stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which we obviously can't, like, speak on. But
no.
It's just so sad. Because, and her being like, I wish he would have just killed me.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't have to deal with this. I'm like...
And, like, Party, her boyfriend, being like, I wouldn't wish this on anyone.
Yeah.
So it's like...
And also... Everyone, like, if you see the posts that are like, people who came out in support of Megan, mostly female musicians, people who said shit about Megan, like again, like supporting Tory Lanez, mostly men, musicians. 50 Cent.
Yeah, we don't have to talk about that.
That was so disappointing.
That was so upsetting. I knew he
had said something before too.
He was always kind of weird, but I'm like,
you're also so old.
Literally.
Grandpa, get out of the conversation.
Like, I was like, I know he's like kind of weird and he's done weird things in the past, but I'm just waiting for like it to happen like right now. I'm like, I've listened to his music for like almost a year. When's it gonna happen? And it did.
Literally.
So bad 50 Cent.
Bad.
But yeah, no, I am just so happy with the outcome, obviously, because it's just what happened. And
literally, but then it's so many things being like she won the like trial, but now she just like forever has to deal with people just like still not believing her.
Yeah, and like, being like, or Tory Lanez's dad being like, preaching outside that, like, you are so embarrassing.
Did you know that he didn't even raise Tory?
Yeah.
I saw that and I was like,
just being like,
or he brought his like son to court, and everyone's like,
you brought a 6-year-old child into
everyone's
this?
like, that's like a really tough thing for a child to have to be put through.
Well, if you're 6 and everyone's just like, you're seeing your dad be imprisoned for decades.
Yeah.
Oh, whatever.
Just like, why would you do that? That's kind of weird.
Is his name Daystar? Is that actually Daystar?
I think so.
That's so perfect. He doesn't deserve a real name.
Tory? You're telling me that Tory is his stage name? He chose that?
My dad said food is available for all. Yeah, apparently. I don't know.
I'm just like so disappointed every time because. And then another thing we're gonna talk about is, which we've spoken about before, is
wait, just wrap up Megan. Megan, we love you.
Yeah, and
like if you aren't on Megan's side, like,
just like take a step back and be like,
why?
Do I actually not believe her, or do I just like actually hate women?
Yeah.
And I'm just like,
not want
no, but like
to.
she's a liar because why would she ever speak out? Women are supposed to be quiet.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, I can kind of bring them both together. But yeah, Rex Orange County.
It's a little apology.
Yeah, his post.
No, it wasn't even. It was not an apology. Sorry.
It was not an apology. He posted being like, the charges were dropped or something.
Yeah, and being like, thank you to all those who never left my side and who actually believe me and support me and love me.
So everyone's like, he's never gonna believe a victim ever again.
Yeah.
And it's like, also charges dropped does
not mean he's innocent at all. Actually,
means a court made a decision.
Literally, no. It means the charges are like the victim could have done that because she was like, this is not worth it.
True. And all the comments being like, oh, you guys switching up. Oh, all you like fans who like
canceled him,
you're switching back. It's like, what was it, 9? like charges. I'm like, of course. Also, like, I still can't listen to his music, even if it was like all the evidence, and I was like, okay, he didn't do it. Just the way he phrased it.
I know, and it was like, and he also described what he was accused of. He was like,
Bottom?
Yeah, I was accused of touching a woman here, all of which are not true. It's like,
and all the comments are like, I knew it.
Okay, well,
get a job.
Literally, it's just it's something.
People should not be famous.
No. Well, okay, in that case, like sexual assault, allegations, obviously very hard to prove.
Yeah.
Which is why you should believe the victim, because how the fuck are they gonna prove that?
9 victims or 6 victims.
Okay, was it 9 times or 9 victims?
There was it was a lot of people.
Okay, so
there was like multiple people.
Awesome.
And I'm just like, that just like really never happens by accident.
No,
because women don't often. It happens sometimes.
Yeah,
but women do not often fake
that kind of shit, like being assaulted.
That's not a thing
that happens often at all.
No, like I'm sure there's
let alone
outliers.
They win.
Yeah,
like it just doesn't happen. Does not happen nearly enough for you to be worried about it.
Yeah, and also everyone just being like, well, like if it happened a long time ago, why didn't they say anything then? It's like, because you are threatening to kill them now because they spoke out.
There's also a thing called like PTSD and like trauma and like
And not wanting to face the person who, like, actually abused you, assaulted you. I don't know.
Or my throat.
No, I'm everywhere. It's just, like, every once in a while I just, like, fall in a deep, dark hole of, like, can I trust a single man that I know?
We had a tough, like, grade 12 year of just being, like, constant disappointment.
Yeah.
High school year. I'll just say high
yeah.
school. Literally, it's just so consistent.
I think that we can only be friends with men from a distance.
Yep.
Because they rarely see women who they're not, like, attracted to or dating as, like, people.
Equals, yeah.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. That's just the truth.
Yeah. And it's, like, that's just the way they're raised. And it's, like, there's
like,
a problem
that's not
with,
changing
like,
anytime soon.
literally the way that they're raised. And also the way that, like, we're raised to also just, like, hate women.
Yeah.
And you also have to unlearn that and, like, check yourself and be like, am I being, like, actually a bitch for no reason?
Or is everyone acting like this and I'm just playing along?
Yeah.
Because, like, every time I hear, there's just something so aggressive about, like, women being like, that woman is looking at my man. Like, shit like that, like, actually makes me like, oh
yeah.
my god.
And also, like, women being like, I'm gonna take this man from this woman.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Or
no
like,
man
I'm gonna
is
kill
worth that.
Literally.
Like, actually.
Unless, like, obviously
never
sometimes
in
they're
my
actually
life.
weird. Yeah.
But, yeah.
But it's just, like, so common where I'm like, oh god, why do you hate them so much? Or, like...
or, like, my female relatives do this... Sorry. My relatives who are women, like, around, like, my mom's generation especially. See?
That was just so poetic with the conversation.
That was really... That's something I have to check myself on all the time. A lot of my relatives who are women, especially around my mom's age, they're very, like, critical of, like, other women's looks sometimes. And I'm like, you are not, like, a bad person and you don't hate women. It's just like
again, how you were raised and, like,
women's
bodies going in and out of
plastic
fashion.
surgery, and stuff like that. It's usually, it's like plastic surgery. And I just, like, I don't know. It's a constant working effort, but just to be like, I don't care. Like, I'll let her do whatever I want to do, or whatever she wants to do. And I try and do that with men, too.
Yeah. We have to all be equals in this world.
It's just, like, let people look the way they want to, and let people do what they want to do if it's not hurting anyone. And this is not a hot take, but...
You're like...
Guys, come on.
Just reiterating.
Stop being haters. I need to really stop being a hater.
No.
2023 resolution, stop being a hater. You can do it. Yeah.
I think...
That wasn't on camera. We just fist bumped.
Yeah. First try.
Took us 5 minutes.
I say I'm better at not being a hater. Why is my dad quacking? I shouldn't go, like, I'm obviously... Yeah. I'm very judgmental as a person. And, like, that's where our humor definitely comes from. It's just being, like, making fun of people. But, oh, wow, it's our friends that we bully.
Yes.
We're not going up to strangers and being like, why the fuck? Like, that person looks so bad.
Yeah.
Because that's just rude.
We have some friends who, like, don't really have that sense of humor, so you don't do it as much. Like, I'll make fun of my guy friends more because that's the way that they talk to each other, and it gets more of a reaction out of them, and then they do it back, and it's funny. Like, also, like, I feel like I make fun of Rowan a lot because her reaction is funny, but I'm also, like, I just every once in a while have to be like, is this funny? Is she okay with this?
No, like, after the laughter dies down, I'm always just like,
guys, are you mad at me?
No, we've been labeled as rude by so many different people.
And we probably, like, were rude
when we were children.
In, like, elementary school, because it was, like, people laugh when I'm mean, and then you just keep doing it.
Yeah, and you don't know when to stop.
What if you stopped hurting my
What if you just, like, just start calling people slurs?
No.
We didn't do that. No.
But, like,
our humor has advanced.
Yeah. And I think we were probably mean in elementary school, but...
people are mean in elementary school.
Yeah. And we
kids.
did not need to be called, like, bitches.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
Mm-hmm.
There's a couple times we got called that.
Yep. God.
Is that your dog or your dad?
That's my dog.
Okay.
Yeah. That's a dog sound.
I was like someone going like, hoo, 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 hoo.
I was gonna talk about like back to the us being called flat thing, because when that happened, the bitch that said it, like, that started going, I was like, at first I was like, that's my biggest insecurity, and someone's finally noticed. I was like, that's so funny.
And I tried to play along.
Yeah, no, me too.
I tried to play along, and it was like also an insecurity, but I'm like, if I just laugh it off, then like they can laugh it off. Yeah. And also I think that's something that I do where it's like, if I make a joke about it, then I beat a dead horse, and then people stop finding it funny, and then they stop talking about it because like I made it unfunny, and I'm like, I cracked the code.
Yeah.
But that should not have happened to us.
No.
But it's also like, if we would have been like, guys, that's like so mean, like that's actually, you need to stop talking about it.
They would have just said it to each other.
Yeah. And then they would have been like, they're like so sensitive.
Like, yeah.
Do you remember there was this like Instagram,
yep, like I already know what you're talking about.
There was this like Instagram like comic thing that was like so old, and this was like grade 5 or 6, and or maybe 7, I just don't know.
It does not matter.
It was, yeah, I'm not gonna say our teacher's name. But I was sitting at the table, and I was like telling Carson about this, and I was like, there's this thing, it's like, you've probably seen it. It's like the cutout of a woman, and it's like the like hourglass shape, you know, like the long hair, whatever. It's a cutout, and then and it's like a woman going through it. It's like the women have to look like this, and then the man one is just a big box.
Yeah.
And the joke in that is like, men can look however they want.
Yeah.
But when I phrased it, when I was explaining it, I was like, men are shaped like boxes.
Obviously a joke.
Yeah.
Obviously like a take on the comic being like, men could be boxes, and it's whatever, you know?
Yeah.
The boys around us took so much
like
offense
lost
to
their
that.
mind for days,
and like kept bringing it up, being like, what the fuck do you mean I'm a box?
like, I'm literally not shaped like a box, look, we're like literally different. And I was like, well, like, I'm just saying, like, women have a lot of different shapes, and no one cares, like, you're only supposed to look this one way. And like, obviously men are not all shaped like boxes. Men come in just as many varieties of shape as women.
And obviously there's like, still a male beauty standard.
Yes. It's like,
but it's much more
they are not policed to the extent that women are. And it kind of just proved my point, because
literally
they just did not see
what
like
we were saying.
They did not see why I said that.
Yep.
They completely glossed over the fact that I was like, women's bodies are policed and men's aren't. They were just like, we are not shaped like boxes.
Like what? Like, you guys are being insane right now.
First of all, it's like 5 grade 7 guys who are all the exact same height and the exact same build, because they all do like one sport. And I'm like, first of all, you guys all do look the same, so you're not proving my point very well. But I'm just like, and I feel like that applies to a lot of like meninist things, where they're like, we have to stand up for men, we have to say like men are not all the same. But in doing that, you're only saying that when women's issues are brought up.
Exactly.
And you're only using it, like, you're never just like, wow, like, we should really talk about like the high rates of suicide in men.
It always comes after.
Yeah. It's always like, oh, women are killed,
retaliation
are killed in like most like domestic violence cases. Well, did you know that men are killed more in like suicide
by
rates
themselves? Like,
it's like, what if we thought about why?
And no, the question being like, who created this problem? Like, reflect on yourself.
Yeah. I didn't mean for this to be an hour of us talking about like,
it's just,
we hate men. It's just like so frustrating, because it's like, I actually do really like being friends with guys.
Yeah.
And like, I sought out male friendships until it was
a problem.
And I was like, you are actually making me feel bad. And
thanks quarantine for that.
Yeah.
Self-reflection. Lots of it.
And it just makes me feel really sad, because it's like, I could be friends with all my girls and I could be friends with guys. And then whenever I hang out with guys, I'm just like, you guys will never connect to each other the same way that me and my girlfriends will.
Friends do, yeah.
And you will never connect to me in that way.
Which is also kind of sad. It's like,
it's
guys,
really sad.
Be friends with each other.
Like, literally. Get each other Christmas gifts, please.
Please. Birthday gifts. Know each other's birthday.
Know each other's birthdays.
Give each other a hug.
Yeah.
Have a movie night.
Like, trade who drives when you hang out.
Literally.
I don't know. I think it's
we
just...
want what's best for you.
Literally. Because if men could create more meaningful friendships with each other, then they'd be nicer to women.
Exactly.
And they'd also have more positive views on how to treat people.
Mm-hmm. We cracked the code. You did. You've been talking for 15 minutes straight.
This is what I'm shaking right now. This is every time I talk about something that gets me riled up, I like shake.
Who got me wild up?
I'm sweating.
Who the lame ass bitch wanna talk about us? Ooh, got me wild. That's a good song.
Yeah.
Sorry, not Brockhampton.
Yeah, not to talk
like,
about women's issues and then immediately be like, Brockhampton, we love
so
them.
Good.
We loved them in grade 10.
Damn right we did. And who else were we friends with in grade 10? There's so many common denominators.
If you were friends with us in grade 10 or grade 12, look at yourself in the mirror tonight really hard and say, am I a misogynist? And also everyone.
And also
even me.
It's a good question.
Even me. Sometimes I just lay in bed and I rethink absolutely everything I've ever done in my life. And I think, am I a bad person? Am I a hater? Am I a woman hater? Yeah. And that's it. I go to bed.
Go to bed. No.
We were going to talk about...
Yeah.
We could literally just talk about like the Washington airport if we wanted.
Sure.
There's only 2 stories we really need to talk about in New York.
Yeah. Okay, we were gonna like just share stories about New York, so it's not very much just like us being like, and then we walked down the street, and then we saw...
The second episode was kind of like that, and I was like, this might be not relatable.
Not at all. People. There's a few gems in there. Guys, still listen to it.
Guys,
please listen to it. Okay, a little bit more of a bit of video. Wow. Okay, a little bit more of video.
Just a little bit. Just kidding.
By no one. Cover by me.
She wrote that song. I was there.
Yeah. We were just gonna... We would not expect the Megan and Rex tangents to last that long.
So distracted.
So we're gonna talk about a few stories from New York.
Yeah. Just
the
like
fun
2
ones. Yeah. Just 2 major ones.
We're gonna talk about...
Put it to rest.
Times Square and the celebrities that we didn't see.
Yeah, but we should have.
We could have. And also the Washington airport on the way there and the way back.
Let's talk about Times Square first. It's quicker.
Okay. This was like... Is this the first night?
Yep.
We got in because our plane was delayed. We'll freaking talk about that when we talk about Washington. So we had to stay over in Washington, and then we went to Wicked.
Yeah.
And so when we left Wicked, we went to Times Square, and the entire trip before that, like on the plane and stuff, we had been just doing the thing that's like, you ever had a Krispy Kreme?
That video? Because we're stupid and we latch on to silly little videos.
And we were so sleep deprived and sweating so hard and being like, I need
that was how we
happiness.
Kept the joy up. Just be like, hey, Taryn, have you ever had a Krispy Kreme?
Yeah.
And we would not have funny responses, but that's all that mattered.
Same thing every time, never got old.
Yep.
So I saw a billboard that said Krispy Kreme and I got so excited. And then when we were walking in Times Square, we saw the big Krispy Kreme building. And I was like,
we gotta go to Krispy Kreme.
We have to try it.
That's the thing of the trip.
Because in the video, the person behind the camera says, yes, I have. Mm-hmm. And we'd be lying
if we
said that and we had never had one. So we could do. So we get in line. It's like a really long line because it's Times Square. And we're waiting. My aunt and her friend, who were like with us in New York, they went to go to a bar because we are underage. We had to stay at the Krispy Kreme. And so the bar ended up being closed, so they came back, and we're still in line, and my aunt comes up to me, and they had many glasses of wine, like at dinner, at the show, everything. And she like pulls up her phone and she's like, please tell me you've seen Stranger Things. And in this moment, I'm like, oh my god. Finn Wolfhard is a block away from me. I'm gonna meet him. This is the best day of my life. That did not happen. So close one day. And she was like, you know who plays like Jonathan and Nancy? And I was like, yes. You're kidding? And she like pulls up a picture and I'm like yeah. Actually, and she like pulls up this picture that she took, and they had been walking back from the bar and seen them like in this like alley kind of thing, like obviously trying to hide from people, like near Times Square, parking lot. Yeah, I'm like, okay, you can leave them alone. But they're very drunk, and they're, like, trying to sneak a picture of them, I think. And then he, like, shoots them a dirty look, because, like, obviously
You're taking a flash photo of them.
You're probably, like, giggling and talking so loud. And... and then, my aunt's friend was like, do you want a picture with us?
Like, do you want a picture with us?
Like, oh my god, that's so funny. Do you want a picture with us? And then he
obviously said
didn't
no.
say anything or said no. And then they just came back to us. But I was like, oh wow. And then we went back there, and I was like, this is gonna be actually so embarrassing if we're just like, are they there? And they're just standing there, and I'm like, oh. Just can't get a picture with them. But they were not there, so we missed out on that. And my whole thing was I wanted to see someone famous, I wanted to see a New York City rat, and I wanted to see someone I knew, and I didn't get any of those. They saw a rat. My aunt and her friend...
I didn't see a rat, yeah.
Oh, you didn't?
No.
So my aunt and her friend saw a rat running across the road under a taxi. They saw Charlie Heaton and Natalia Dyer. Mm-hmm. And they obviously saw people they know because they live around there. So I was like, okay, fine.
Whose trip is this?
So that was crazy. That was like, oh, I'm in New York. We're not in Kansas anymore.
And
get it? Because we watched Wicked on Broadway.
My cat is back. That's like when we were going to go see Funny Girl.
Yeah.
And we would have saw Hillary Clinton the night we would have gone.
We would have saw Lea Michele because she's in it.
Hi, kitty cat.
And, yeah, literally the night one of the 2 nights we went, it would have, oh my god. She is shaking that thing.
She's just so happy.
I've never seen a cat before in my life. Hey.
But yeah, that was just what could have been. Oh my god, woman.
What?
You swallowed so
Sorry,
loud.
my mother's been talking for so long.
Kitty cat.
Kitty cat. What do you have to say? Okay.
But yeah, that's like literally all you need to know about
That was like one
York.
of the highlights. I loved Times Square. That was like one of the highlights.
It's actually cool.
It is cool. It was like at night. It was really cool.
Just so loud and so much happening.
They just play Empire State of Mind
the entire trip
in the 360 cameras, and it's just one station is playing it, and then you walk 200 feet, and another station is playing it like at a different time in the song, and it's just like over and over again, and then like the scooter carriages walking.
Literally, and every merchandise store.
Oh, the I Heart NY. It was really magical. It was like the New York experience, and I'm so glad. But one of the low points, or the low point of
our trip, was the one, the only Washington Dulles International Airport.
Which is not, it's in Virginia, which, why is Washington, D.C. in Virginia? Why didn't I know that until we were in the Toronto airport?
There are 13 colonies, something to do with that.
Ugh. Like, I can't believe Joe Biden lives there. Anyways.
Yeah.
We could have seen Hillary Clinton and Joe Biden.
Stop.
We flew into the Washington Dulles Airport, which is just outside of Washington, D.C. And I've heard that...
said, the location tag said Herndon, Virginia.
Hernia, Virginia.
The Hernia, Virginia.
The Hernia region?
Yep. A virgin?
Shut up.
The hernia of virginity. That was not funny.
This is
Move
too
on.
far. What is this? Oh, it's like, it's outside of Washington, D.C., so it's not even in Washington, D.C., which is apparently a kind of cool place.
Yeah. No, it's in God knows where, Virginia.
But, like, kind of close. Like, close enough that they can say it's in Washington, D.C. It's not. So.
The most exhausting town on Earth.
In the worst smelling state.
Yep. Smelled like smelled like tires and burning rubber.
And, like, gunpowder.
The stalest air.
And, like, exhaust.
Like,
it was
tarmac.
Like viscous. The air was viscous. And it was like giving me
my cat just looked at Darren like
the air was like thick and viscous and smelled awful, and it gave me the worst vibes because everywhere I go I'm like, I know the air. Yeah. Like the city we live in, it's like pretty crisp. You go to Toronto, it's like also even more crisp, kind of warmer.
Yeah.
And you know, if you go to like
a hot place,
places,
like
it's humid, then you like whoa, you know. And then we stepped off the plane.
And it was like
we didn't actually. That was like an hour after we stepped off the plane because we had to figure out your luggage. Which
No, okay, we get to the Virginia airport and we get off the plane and we have a 16-hour layover. Like, in Virginia. 16-hour layover that was supposed to be like an hour and a half or something. Because our flight got delayed and then we missed the connecting flight. So we had a night to stay somewhere in Virginia. No fucking way are we going to get anything out of Air Canada. I don't want to talk to an agent. They are so unhelpful.
They do not care about you.
Nope. So meanwhile, I'm like, okay, I want to get my luggage. It was stripped from me. I want to find it.
The attendant in Toronto was like,
you can find it.
Yeah. You'll find it in Washington, so get on this plane.
Yeah.
We should not have gotten on that plane. We should have stayed in Toronto and been like, get us on another flight. And then we would have been staying in Toronto, which is not scary, and we've been there before. And I don't know if you can actually hear it that well.
Yeah, I don't think so.
The other ones.
It's just distracting.
We should have just stayed in Toronto, but hey, podcast content.
Yeah, hey,
that's everything now.
The Air Canada agent was like, you have more options if you go to Washington, because it's an international airport and it's a hub.
Yeah, we had one option.
We had no option.
When we got there, we had two options. My aunt, while we were in the air, like booked us on a flight to Charlotte or something.
Charlotte. It was like North Carolina.
It was like we were gonna go like down and up, but then she was like, actually don't, because if you get stuck there, you're further away from where you need to be. So we didn't, and my parents just booked us a hotel. We're also not old enough to book a hotel, so we're like, actually you can't.
I have a credit card to my name. I can't use it because I'm not like old and I don't
think so. Like, I actually don't think you can, which is so stupid. But you could also like book it over the phone.
Yeah, and just be like,
give your credit card information and be like, I'm booking this for my daughters, and then we show up and we're like, we are said daughters. I know. Anyways, we get there. Taryn's talking to her parents, trying to organize like a hotel or someplace for us to sleep for the night, so we don't have to stay in this god awful airport. In the States.
I am talking to this Air Canada agent about my luggage because I know it's gone forever. It was. And then he's like, it's not here. They don't know where it is. Like, he's like, you can hope it'll show up when you get to your final destination, but like, I have no idea where it is. I'm like, bawling instantly. I start crying so hard, and then like my dad, I have to tell my dad what's happening because I'm in a different state than I should be. And then like I'm talking to my friends, being like, lol, I'm crying so hard. And this airport is the least comforting place I've ever been in my life.
We have to like describe.
Okay, guys.
Like, picture this. Okay, we get off the plane. Mm-hmm. The gates are always full.
Yep.
The rest of the airport completely empty. The windows are the size of doors, and there are very few of them.
So narrow, like from the ground.
Yeah.
To like a door.
The doors, you know how in most airports the doors like to go onto the thing are like automatic glass doors, or like a lot of them are like see-through, so it's like not fucking scary. They're just like doors, like doors like
a doorknob
in like a school.
Yep.
This school looked like our shitty high school as an airport. It was so scary. Mm-hmm. Everything is underground, pretty much. This was built during the Cold War in the 60s, so like there's pictures of like Kennedy at like this airport
framed
everywhere.
Pictures of presidents and little like American flags, obviously, because that's not a common. No, it's not an uncommon thing.
Yeah, like I'm sure all the rest of them are like that.
They're stuck out of the wall like this, and they're just like hanging everywhere, and it's like concrete. Like the little like shuttle area to the baggage claim was like concrete, and I was like, am I above ground? Am I underground? I don't know. And I was like, this is a dictatorship.
Yeah. It felt like an entirely different country. It was, but it felt entirely different from the States, because we've both been to the States in other states before.
And I just felt like we went back in time.
Yeah. No, it definitely, I was like, oh, I'm living in the Cold War. This is cool. I'm feeling threatened for my life.
Right now. The Russians are
like,
overhead.
They're ready for like bombing.
Literally.
At any time. That's why everything's underground. So we have to go underground to get to like the other gate or whatever.
Okay, guys, go on Google Earth and look at the Washington Dulles Airport. You'll see that there's 3 individual columns that seem to have no connection between them.
They do.
It's 60 feet underground, and you have to take an escalator that's like 3 times the size of what I've ever seen. Seemingly no one there on like the busiest travel day in America, Thanksgiving.
Was, like, right before Thanksgiving.
And like, we get to like the security, so we've gone down and we're back up, like wherever the hell we were, and then it's these like enormous tall ceilings, concrete
and swooped down. concave, concrete, all the conks. Everything.
All the conks.
All the conks. Like, I was like, the roof is collapsing on me.
Mm-hmm.
I feel so claustrophobic. Why is it concrete? Why did you choose this?
That seems like a hazard. And then the lighting on the sides that were like 10 feet off the ground, blue and red. And I'm like, do you guys ever take a break? Do you ever take a day off? Like, it was just so like, I'm in like a amusement park.
Yeah.
Like
It was
a
like,
thematic.
who designed this place?
I don't know. And then, yeah, we go out and wait for the shuttle to the airport that we got. And I was like, I feel like I'm still inside. This is not like outside air.
No, you said like the ceiling, like the sky felt lower.
Yes.
And it was like, yeah, everything felt like taller and the sky felt lower. I felt like I was 3 feet tall.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, just had like vertigo. It smelled so bad. As soon as I stepped outside, I was like, people carry guns here.
Yep.
Like,
We are in a
immediately
red
I was
state.
just, like, our spidey senses were like, oh, we're in danger.
Yep.
It was, when
So
people say
scary.
liminal space, that had like like, we have the escalators going back, like down. I took pictures on my way when I had to fly back by myself.
Intermission over. We're back.
No, I was just saying like the escalators. I took pictures when I was on my way back by myself.
Mm-hmm.
But like the escalators, yeah, 3 times as long as regular ones. Felt slower, probably wasn't, but I was just like, oh my god, I'm nearing the end. And you just go up, and then you just walk down a hallway, and then there's like a long carpet, and then there's no one there. No one there.
No music,
the entire time
no
you're going
nothing.
up the escalators for like 10, 15 minutes. No one there. The music they play in that airport I've never heard before in my life. Not a single song was like popular.
Common. Yeah.
Or like nothing. Just like, it felt like I was in just a different country
Mm-hmm.
that I've never been to before. And yeah, you just go up an escalator, you just walk on down a hallway, you go on like the carpet thing, you go on another escalator, you like
You just
turn,
meander
you just,
everywhere. Just the ickiest feeling you can imagine. And like, yeah, we had to do
just
it
empty
alone.
spaces everywhere. Yeah,
Alone on the way back.
On the way back, it was during the day.
Yeah.
On the way there, we never saw the sun. We
Nope.
got there at night, then we got shuttled to
A
a hotel,
hotel.
then we had to wake up
At like 3 or 4 a.m.
yeah, go get on another flight. So, on my way back, it was fine. I couldn't get Chick-fil-A because they wouldn't break my $100 bill. $100 American bill.
Come on, man. Yeah, and then we went to the hotel, which, like, we each got our own bed. It was fine.
Yeah.
Kind of nice. And then I'm just like,
Spider-Man.
yeah. I'm, like, looking outside the window. I'm like, I see no one walking. I don't see a sidewalk. I don't see a car moving. I see like 3 buildings. I can't even see like stars or clouds or anything. I was like,
It's a set.
I need to go to bed. Yeah.
I was like, no, this is like in the Truman Show when he like wants to go on vacation, so they just like build a set
Yeah.
to look like it. That's exactly what I think it is. They were just like, oh god, they have to stop here. We have to like build a set. We have to like build a
Quick.
hotel room really quick.
They're
so
moving.
That, like, that's actually what it felt like. And it was just like, immediately I was just like, this is the worst place in the world, because it was like we were in the worst situation possible and like so stressed out.
Yeah, I know.
And we were like, oh, this is gonna be the worst trip
I've ever been on. Yeah.
But it wasn't.
No. And then we went to the East Coast and we're like,
Literally like flying over like Connecticut, and it's like
this
fall,
is good.
and like things are red and like green, and it's just like
trees.
farms, and I was like, I forgot that I really like this place.
Yeah.
And I'm not like actually miserable and gonna,
it's
because
just
I was
Virginia.
like, oh, this is like something I have to do. I'm in Virginia. I'm like, okay, I have to just work through like get
power
through this
through
week, and I'm like, oh,
experience.
I'm actually fine.
Yeah.
So,
No, the rest of the trip was so enjoyable.
we got to take a train. We got to go to Providence, Rhode Island, which I didn't know I was going to be able
Yeah.
to go to.
Went to
So-
5 states
yeah.
on this little trip.
So you have never been to any of them,
Uh-uh.
and I had never been to 3 of them.
3 of them? No. Virginia, Rhode Island, Massachusetts, New York, Connecticut. Good run.
It was a good,
and all in 6 days.
yeah, we just like hit it. We got like, yeah, Providence was it was the closest to like home, closest to like a Canadian city.
It felt very Canadian.
and we saw like a kids hockey game, so I was like, I'm home right
Yeah.
now.
This is Swift Current.
This is like, this is every weekend for me.
No. Tell me about it.
But it was worth it.
Yeah.
And every holiday since then, or like every time I've seen my family, they're like, how's your trip? And I'm like, it was good, but like the travel day on the way, the travel days were kind of bad. And they're like, oh yeah, I heard. And I'm like, yeah, but it was worth it. I've said that so many times. Those exact words. Getting sick of it.
No, like, me donating blood today, and she's like, so you traveled outside the country? And I was like, yeah, I went to New York. She's like, oh, how was that? I'm like, good. Travel wasn't that good, though. She's like, oh, tell me about it.
And everyone's...
I'm like, this is a conversation that humans have.
Another thing is, we were talking about how Americans are, like, nice.
Yeah.
We
or East Coast.
Yeah,
we're nice.
They're, like, nice. And I was like, I think it's because in Canada, politeness is just, like...
courtesy, like
you're taught to be polite, and like you always have to be polite, and you have to say like, hey, how are you?
Mm-hmm.
But in America it's like
they only say it if they want to talk to you.
So like a lot of the people we met were really nice because I was like, oh, you're like actually interested in this, because like I know you don't need to, you're doing this out of the kind and thoughtfulness of your heart.
Yeah.
In Canada it's just like, hey, how are you?
Good. Okay.
I don't give a fuck about how you actually are. I just don't want to look like a bad person.
It seemed more like making conversation there.
Yeah. I actually had real conversations.
Mm-hmm. So guys, like, we can learn a thing or two about
and
Americans.
Also, I checked out the Boston Emerson campus, and I fell in love. And if anyone wants to spot me $60,000 real quick,
year.
$60,000 a year real quick, I would be so appreciative of Liv. So,
that's probably all the time we got for today.
We gotta do Obsession of the Week really quick.
My obsession of the week is my Crocs. Easy, done it.
Easy. Mine is my new hair.
If you guys haven't noticed.
My new hair.
She's back to Twinum, brunette stage.
Yeah. This is darker than my natural hair color, but I'm growing it out or whatever. I actually really like it.
It is really nice.
I thought it was just going to be like a transition stage, like growing out my hair, but I'm like, maybe I do. But I'm like, okay, so I'll be fine with my natural hair color. My natural hair color is not this color. It's gray. It is devoid of all saturation. I was blessed with gray hair.
Hey.
But I gotta grow it out so I can go blonde again. But I showed up to Christmas and my great grandma was like, where's my blonde? And I was like, okay, guess I have to bleach my hair again.
It's gonna be on your hands,
grandma told me
man.
to.
Great grandma.
But it is, I was too busy to have any other passions other than myself.
Yeah.
Just looking in the mirror like, ooh.
No, yeah. It's been a busy week. We just past Christmas.
Yeah. I don't know if you guys freaking knew that.
But yeah. Christmas is fine. We both agree that we're just getting older and the feeling is fading.
Or being around my cousins that still believe in Santa and being like, damn.
Being like, oh, I was once.
But like... Santa's real.
Yeah.
If you're under the age of 12, I was joking. I don't think we have any listeners. I can see analytics. There's like
okay. I can see the statistics.
And New Year's is next.
We have a trip on Friday, which is in 2 days from today.
So maybe we'll record an episode there with some of our little pals.
Or maybe a little collab podcast is coming your guys' way.
With You'll Never Guess. Special.
You'll never guess who else we know that has a podcast.
So stay tuned for that. Stay tuned to see if this is on video, or if the last episode's on video, or if the next one's on video. And
have a blessed New Year's.
Yeah.
See you guys 2023. Peace and love, man. Peace. Club going up on a Tuesday. Got your girl in the club, she choose a club going up. And then the remix.